Okay, folks, this is video 2 of a video lawyer video series that I started today on today's date, August 2nd, 2026. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm making this video series in order to inform, to expose the truth, and to attempt to use the applied techniques and behaviors that I'm going to try to affect in order to make sure my information gets to prospective lawyers and prospective law firms. If I don't get help soon, this crime is going to, if they haven't already done it, this crime will intentionally, purposely, with premeditation and specific malice aforethought, make me disabled so I can no longer function on my own. Racketeering, illegal probate control schemes is one of the biggest things occurring in the criminal application of the program that is known as gang stalking. Now, I want you to listen to what I'm saying here. This video is a direct continuation of where I left off at in video 1. Okay, and just ignore how I look. The way I look right now is a direct result of the things that have happened to me. Okay, absolutely. And when you see some upcoming videos I'm going to upload here in the next few days, as long as the perpetrators don't erase them, yeah, 2 videos. They're actually 3, but the one from May 1st, it's going to probably take me a week or 2 to upload it because I got to find what memory card it's on. I got 2 videos, one from July 2nd, 2026 and July 17th, 2026. Of me being attacked with direct energy weapons and masers, literally 2 feet from where I'm sitting at right now this second. It occurred to me in my tent. Now, the crime of gang stalking made me homeless from several apartments in Michigan, one in Tennessee, which is one of many crimes this crime perpetrates all over the country against thousands of Americans annually. If you don't think the government cannot make you homeless, you are just not educated. You are just not educated. The homelessness has been endlessly weaponized. Okay, through corrupt criminal law enforcement, absolutely, and private collusion with property owners. Make no mistake about it, this is going on all over the country. Now, as I discussed in video 1, one of the main reasons why I want to get a lawyer, one of my initial reasons why I want to get a lawyer is I want to be able to sue some of these businesses and universities and take a look at some of the police's behavior over the years. Because my evidence related to the businesses and the universities and the police is pretty much indisputable. It's indisputable, especially San Diego Park Rangers and any SDPD officers that assisted them on all dates, and two different UCSD police officers that came on the wooded area property off of Gilman Road back in 2014. November 10th, 2014, and in August of 2014. Now, I already know they were working in direct collusion with the host, but you cannot get corrupt law enforcement to admit anything. You always need to understand this, my fellow American citizens. Gang stalking victims are not anti-law enforcement. We are not. Okay? What we are is we are anti-corruption connected to law enforcement. Okay? Because when law enforcement, them knowing that they are committing a crime. Law enforcement knows how to commit a crime while making it appear they're just doing their job. Oh, absolutely. Now, as you stay with this video series and you see more information disclosed, you're going to see how the crime of gang stalking in of itself can do massive amounts of crimes right out in the open community, while other people who are innocent, other innocent civilians, can be right around the victim. The victim can be experiencing multiple crimes, and these other citizens would notice a thing. So, and trust me when I say, when you hear about it, you'll understand. You will completely understand. So if the program of gang stalking can affect that, which they are doing all over the country, okay, like as an example, why do you think color coding is occurring in gang stalking crimes? When you hear that and you don't know anything about gang stalking at all, you might think to yourself, what the hell does that mean? Well, when you stay with this account, because that's going to be discussed in other videos connected to this lawyer video series, you'll thoroughly understand it. So when you thoroughly understand that, and then you sit back and you say, okay, when a target goes out and about in the community and other duped, role-playing, paid-off community members are told to drive by the victim and walk by the victim, and they're wearing and or carrying color coding. There are vehicles that are color coded. Then you're going to say to yourself, I can see how that behavior can instantly always blend in with your everyday environment and your average citizen who has not been brought on board in the campaign, who's also in the environment, wouldn't have a clue about what the victim is enduring because of the color coding. I wanted to go out of my way to say that because, for one, just go to Google and research at Google extensively and keep researching it at Google. Gang stalking and color coding. The vast majority of victims don't even know why color coding is occurring. They just think that it's an intentional way to make you feel stalked and harassed because of how often we witness it. But there's actually a very, very sophisticated actual motive behind it that the vast majority of victims don't even know. It took me years to figure it out. Okay, literally. And I'll talk to you about that in one of the other videos connected to this video series. When you hear the details around it, you'll sit back and say to yourself, I can totally see it. I totally understand it. And your jaw will also drop when you actually see what's going on in color coding. So I wanted to bring that up so you can see to yourself, hey, look, if they can achieve this and camouflage the intent of the motive of why it's propped up, what else do you think that they can do through this crime? Pay attention to this audio. And anything that I don't discuss that you're going to hear from this section of this audio file, you'll hear it talked about in another one of the videos dedicated to this video series. Listen. Sorry, I thought the tape recorder was on. Hold on a second. So listen.
Then just one part there, and I'll get Tony or John to jump in here, but when we're reading number 6 there, and it's talking about nanotechnology in the brain and the blood, I mean, is anyone getting kind of an echo of Elon Musk and his neural lace technology here?
Yeah, and we're also talking about what we've mentioned many times are the nanoparticles that are already within our system and remaining dormant at this point. Targeted individuals are not dormant, of course, with their nanoparticles, nanomachines, and nanotransmitters and receivers. So what I'm getting out of this, Dr. Kallstrom, is the absolute factual statement of this technology. This is not, out in the woo land. You're talking about a gentleman with firsthand knowledge of this technology existing today and operating today and responsible for many of the outward things that we see going on in terms of crimes that are occurring.
Yeah, and just one more comment about the nanotechnology. Supposedly this is now in everybody's body because it's probably coming from the chemtrail spraying. I mean, the nanotech has been sprayed on us for the last quarter century. So, every human and non-human creature is going to have these things in their system, which then can be used. So it's really the nanotechnology plus the electromagnetic energy from the supercomputer.
Well,
get together.
Yeah, before you move on, Johnny, you've got something to add in here.
I was just thinking that the way this supercomputer, this conscious computer, it's sending out streams, there's no really any way of escaping this because, we're talking satellites, we're talking cell phone towers. There's no way of actually escaping from the data that's getting sent to you.
No, that's exactly it, Johnny. You've hit the nail on the head there, and that's why, Doc, I think that these people who are targeted right now is just a test for when this goes live, real time, everyone.
Yeah, well, Johnny, we have or Brian too mentioned some defense tactics, and we'll get to those here. But yeah, that's coming at us, or it's coming to the TIs 24/7. Number 7, through transcranial brain stimulation, that's brain-to-brain contact. Leaders of what Brian too and others are calling the hive mind teams, and the leaders are the quote-unquote clones, inject impulses, memory attacks, verbal entrainment, visual entrainment, two-dimensional images, short videos, dream modulation, neuro-linguistic programming thoughts, images, holograms, etc., into the minds of the victims. Victims are typically subject to hundreds of neuro attacks each day, and targets of this technology nearly universally experience the symptoms of tinnitus or ringing in the ears, and or fossing, which is kind of a light show that's provided to the TI because their optical nerve is being disrupted by this stream of electromagnetic energy. I should mention mention that the clones of the hive mind teams are 3 to 6 people. Again, these are CIA, DIA subcontractors, usually involving psychologists, psychiatrists, cognitive researchers, neuroscientists, and these are the guys who are going to be going to neuroscience conferences around the world. And when you have a big neuroscience conference, there's 30 or 40,000 people that show up. These are the people that are making money doing these horrific experiments on non-consenting citizens around the world. These people, according to Stu, are psychopaths or sociopaths. He calls them intellectual barbarians. But we know that, if we go back to the MK Ultra, we know that the same dynamic occurred with the horrendous experiments of MK Ultra. We had some of the top psychiatrists and psychologists in the world doing this kind of trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse on infants, on all kinds of people, starting in 1953 with the beginning of the MK Ultra program. And so that one psychologist, Dr. Colin Ross, says the entire field of psychiatry and all of academia is implicated in the crimes that were committed in the MK Ultra and related programs. Okay, so moving next, number 8, the supercomputers.
Stop you there before the brutally interrupts you. We're almost at the break. I always say this show goes fast, and when you...
Alright, let me fast forward it for a second. And by the way, this interview right here with Anthony Patch, Dr. Eric Karlstrom, and I forgot the YouTube channel. You could probably find the full interview by going to YouTube. You might be able to find it through Google too. It's a YouTube video. Just type in Anthony Patch, Anthony Patch, Dr. Eric Karlstrom, the Two Hypothesis, TEW. 2 stands for Brian Two, who you can also Google on YouTube, is an ex-DoD contractor who became very familiar and educated about this technology. And there are thousands of others all over the internet exposing this technology. Oh, absolutely. Including ex-CIA scientist Dr. Robert Duncan, who died in 2024-25. Oh, absolutely. He was all over the internet exposing this. He wrote the books Project Soulcatcher, Volume 1 and 2. There are tens and tens of thousands of gang stalking torture victims all over the internet on every single online platform that you can think of every single day, begging for help. Every last one of them is being sadistically tortured non-stop 24/7 every single day and night, including while they're sleeping, with the different technologies, which include neural technologies, neurological technologies, psychotronics, acoustic weapons, directed energy weapons, high energy plasma weapons, and that's just a set of many crimes according to gang stalking victims. The immediate goal of this lawyer video series videos is to go after the businesses, universities, and measures of the police who have been involved in the community-based gang stalking. Because the community-based gang stalking, believe it or not, plays a huge role in assisting in what the host needs. At the end of the day, what the host needs, one of the ever-present goals that the host is after, is programming the mental substrate of the victim so they can continue to interface with the neurological systems through remote neural monitoring, and other identified neural technologies. Now, I know this sounds peculiar and maybe even a little crazy to people who don't know anything at all about the criminal program of gang stalking. That's completely normal, because our brains, when we hear something, our brains are saying, how the hell can this happen? How could this be done? How can a computer remotely interface with a human being's brain and biological systems? Extremely easy. And this is another purpose of these videos, to inform, to expose. This technology is reported to literally be everywhere, and they got many different types, absolutely. But you see, again, let me reiterate something that I talked about at the beginning of this video or in the first video. One of the biggest things that's going to help me, and I'm just going to openly say it, money. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't deserve this money because of what I've been through. Non-stop psychological harassment, non-stop psychological battering through businesses, universities, bus transportation services, absolutely, and universities, and the things that the police did and intentionally allowed. This should, the evidence I got directly correlates to it, and it's completely indisputable. Completely indisputable. There's not one syllable anyone could say in court that would be able to refute that even 1 second of all the evidence I got is not evidence. In other words, the evidence is completely indisputable. They cannot defend themselves, and they even know this. You know, once they make you homeless and they see you're preparing these lawyer videos through criminal cyber surveillance, they wait till you leave the wooded area, at least usually, and they'll stage an event towards you to set you up and arrest you, or to put you in a mental ward before you can get a lawyer. This is literally how evil these sociopaths are. They're criminally insane. This is one of the reasons why gang stalking is a nationwide epidemic, because the wild animals that are hosting it, federal, state, county, local law enforcement, DHS, FBI are massively implicated, DOD, DOJ, they're all implicated. They're all implicated. This is why all lawsuits are being lost concerning at least the neurotechnology and the directed energy weapons. But just stay with this account, sweethearts. You will learn a lot. Each video is a piece of the puzzle. You watch each video, you do some research, you continue to stay with the account and watch the other videos. The brain will organize the data. It will synthesize the facts. Okay? Absolutely. And then you'll be able to see a larger portion of the holistic crime. Okay? We learn by listening. Okay? Absolutely. So when you hear certain things like supercomputers or conscious computers, you stay with this account, you'll completely understand what that means. You will understand it in layman's terms. Your brain will agree with it. It will see the facts of it. And then, as you continue to listen, you get that other information. The brain connects it together because it is tied together. Okay? So it will do the synthesis of it, and you'll see the truth. You'll see the absolute truth. Now, my fellow American citizens, in a minute, in this audio file, you're going to start hearing some of the things about the community-based gang stalking. So listen up.
It goes doubly fast. I hope you're all catching this information. I think it's factually far, but two absolutely brilliant series on the research he's done into mind control, and more specifically, gang stalking, or as I like to call it, the MK Ultra for the 21st.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to playing this again here in less than 30 seconds, but I want to interject a statement here real fast. What did you just hear them say? Gang stalking. I got 10,400 audio files, literally, no exaggeration at all, plain, pure, simple, factual truth. I literally got 10,400 audio files showing people getting around me everywhere I go, repeating gang stalk, oh my god, suck dick. Sorry about the language, folks. None of my videos are made for kids, so, I want you to know that too. I specifically select that option. No, this video is not meant for kids when I upload videos. This is literally what is repeated along my routes. Caught on over 10,400 audio files. It was just caught again a few days ago at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf on Governor Road and Genesee Avenue. And we're going to see if I get banned from there or accused of anything, or we're going to see if they start claiming that you can't plug your chargers in to charge my chargers for my phone. They'll come up with any excuse in order to prevent you from continuing to use that business, because the hosts who use them to do that will know that they're going to continue the crime against me, and many of the things that I endure every single day are intentionally designed for me to endure in order to, concerning achieving certain motives, there's some other motives, okay, to control my schedule. Because once they make you homeless, how are you going to charge your tablet and phone? You got to do it by and through going to places to charge your phone chargers. And they've been using that as a non-stop control mechanism ever since they made me homeless. Absolutely. Okay, so bear with me 2 seconds. So, when you find out why they're propping up people, all you got to do is go to Google and type in at Google MTS, M as in Mary, MTS, gang stalk, oh my god, suck my, and then use the number key on your keyboard. Press that twice and then type in CK. MTS, gang stalk, oh my god, suck my, the number symbol twice, and then CK. The number symbol represents the DI of DICK. Okay? That's the name of a YouTube playlist. One of about 40 or 50 of them that are already online. Sit in a quiet room, watch the videos, and listen to how you hear these words or phrases being repeated around me. Okay? Literally. Now, when you hear the reason why that's being done, your jaw is really going to drop. Okay? It's going to drop right on the ground. Okay? Absolutely. Because we can sit back and we can say to ourselves, when you got professional crime rings out there, like the type of people, bear with me for a second, I got to get a phone charger out. When we look at the average types of crimes that are generally known by the adult population, like home burglary, bank robbery, rape, assaults, car theft, those are general crimes. Have you ever heard on the news, hey, this person who stole a car, okay, or this person that invaded a person's home and did home burglary left a note behind that said gang stalking and suck the ACK? Of course not. Gang stalking is a very unique crime. They're involved in hundreds of crime motivations, completely protected from A to Z, by and through state, county, local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and all government agencies, which is why the crime of gang stalking is a national epidemic. Yeah, it's nothing but a big, gigantic, tentacle organized crime syndicate in the system, perpetrating a big, gigantic, fat, tentacle crime. And that's why it's an epidemic, because they're completely protected. But when you see the other statements that are going to be made in the other additional videos connected to this lawyer video series videos, you're going to understand why I think it's the best option right now is to go after the businesses and the universities, okay, for their recent and past direct participation in this crime. Okay, and that hopefully, because the evidence is indisputable, if it's shown and deliberated in an uncorrupted judicial process, I should be able to be awarded funds. That will help me get out of the homelessness that they non-stop weaponize. This homelessness that they put me in is non-stop weaponized in many ways. What do you hear about that? Oh, absolutely. Okay. So let me continue to play the audio file. Okay, and remember, there's hundreds of crimes occurring in gang stalking. Many of them you're not going to initially understand because of the different sophisticated technologies. That is the goal of the people who are targets who are very educated, is to expose to you these sophisticated technologies and talk to you about them in layman's terms so you can understand. Listen.
And to add to the conversation, we've got our good friend, the newest member of the KBS team. He's got his own show on a Friday night, author of numerous books, Mr. Anthony Patch. And before I go back to the doc, Tony, I want to come to you because that segment there where we were talking about the satellites, the cell towers, the mobile platforms, we talk a lot about the rollout of 5G. Now, they try and sell that to the public through saying that with the Internet of Things, there's going to be so many gadgets looking for bandwidth, looking for a connection to the Internet, and 5G is the thing we need. When I listen to Doc Hallstrom, I'm thinking all these extra connections that it's going to be making. I don't think it's the Internet of Things, Tony. I think it's connecting all of us to the beast system.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm glad that Dr. Hallstrom brought up the computer-to-brain interface, and I want to just shed just a little bit of information about that. We have talked about D-Wave. We've talked about the model numbers of D-Wave. The most current one is the fifth model, which has 2048 qubits. It's been marketed and sold as having 2,000 qubits, calling it the 2000Q. Now, that's all public, and we've talked about that. The 2048, that is the number of qubits in the D-Wave computer. That is also the quaternary amplitude modulation, or QAM, of 5G Wi-Fi. So the qubits have a direct correlation in number to the actual amplitude modulation of the 5G signal that is being broadcast.
Now, that is in relation to the fact that, and by the way, this is heavily reported on the internet. I'm talking about heavily. Even doctors are exposing this. But I'm going to give you 5G can interface not only with the concerning the reports, and we're talking about scientific papers and everything, okay? 5G, 4G was too, but nowhere near as much as 5G, and then 6G is going to be rabid. Oh, absolutely. So, 5G is basically Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is radio frequencies. Radio frequency interfacing with the human brain, nervous system, and biological systems. If you got implants in you, let me give you a fast example. Say if you're a gang stalking target, you got a non-consensual cochlear ear implant in you, whether it's modified or not. Okay, that cochlear ear implant can have an antenna on it. The antenna can be interfaced with, just like this phone can interface with the tablet I'm making this video through. Now, once they interface with the antenna, what's reported they can do is they can use voice cloning software, so that what they'll do is get on their computer and construct a sentence like, I'm gonna go to Domino's and get a pizza. Okay? And then they'll construct it on their keyboard. That structured sentence can then be sent to the antenna of the ear implant. And then that sound, okay, done through a carrier wave, will be heard in the sound processor of the ear implant, in the target's voice cloning. Okay? And the victim just thinks they're having their own thought about going to Domino's. And you wouldn't believe the different reasons why that would be done. There's part of your mind control. Okay? Because why would you not distinguish that that's not your own thought when you're hearing it in your auditory cortex and the sound of your own voice? And they don't allow you to prove that the cochlear ear implant, or a middle eardrum implant, or a midbrain auditory implant, or an auditory implant in the vestibular nerve, in the back of the vestibular nerve, and other types of audio implants. Oh, absolutely. Sweethearts, you can even go to Google and type in at Google other audio implants at the nanoscale. Okay? Voice synthesizers can be used as an audio delivery system. Yeah, this crime is massive. These are high-tech criminals. Absolutely, baby cakes and munchkin butts. Bear with me 1 second, because I'm going to fast forward this audio.
Wherein lies your
Yeah, it's a transmission. 5G ain't nothing but a transmission medium from their high-tech criminal asses to the ear implant. And when you walk in range of 5G, okay, they got you. But it's reported they can also do it through cell phone towers. So you can just be walking up a long road where there's no businesses at all. Okay? And you would not believe what else I know. Oh, absolutely. Hold on a second. Let me fast forward this.
Mind control talking.
Anyway, back to 1953 when Alan Dulles of the CIA signed the MK Ultra project into being. He says in 1953, CIA Director Alan Dulles, speaking before a national meeting of Princeton alumni, distinguished two fronts in the then current battle for men's minds, quote unquote, a first front of mass indoctrination through censorship and propaganda, and a second front of individual, quote, brainwashing and, quote, brain changing. Before an audience of fellow Ivy Leaguers, Dulles skipped the usual pieties about democracy. The same year, Dulles approved the CIA's notorious MK Ultra project and exempted it from normal CIA financial control.
Okay, so this now looks like, for some reason, it looked like it started a separate video, so I guess this would be now video 3. This will be a direct extension of where I left off at the tail end of video 2. And that's if that occurred. Some type of dialog box came over across the home screen of the tablet at the bottom, and I couldn't see what it said because I don't have my glasses on. So if the third video started, then so be it. If not, then I'll be stopping this video at 33 minutes.
And then at the top of this article, I've got a bunch of quotes from Dr. Robert Duncan, ex-CIA scientist and mind hacker, who says some very interesting things, talks about the Satan program, silent assassination through adaptive networks, etc. And he says the number of successful kills through mind hacking cannot be estimated due to the extremely large collateral damage numbers. Well, so this stuff is ongoing. It's up to us to figure out what's happening and how to defend ourselves. Okay, number 8,
Now, I want you to listen to I'm just going to play audio up until the last minute of this particular video, and then when I start another video, no, in fact, I'm already almost out of time. I only got less than 2 minutes left.
Is constantly predicting your choices in advance based on your past choices. This is called choice reference pattern. And the actual feet on the street, the gang stalkers, the perps, are used to verify the predictions that the technology, the supercomputer makes, according to 2. Number 9, the goal is to make a cognitive model or map of the victim's brain. Ultimately, the system replicates and digitizes the will, intellect, and emotions, the soul of the targets, and downloads this back into the conscious computer. We more or less said that. Number 10, gang stalking street theater is also used to create a continuously hostile environment for the victims. They harass, attack, and target the victim in order to constantly provoke the victim into emotional responses that can be remotely measured and integrated back into the supercomputer's data. The continually hostile environment created everywhere the TI goes forces the TI, targeted individual, into isolation and results in the target's inability to function in society. She shuts down physically and psychologically. Number 11, physical and psychological trauma are used to map out the sensory and neural pathways of the brain and the central nervous system. These are kind of two different things. Long-term physical and brutal psychological trauma, this is now trauma-based mind control, also called satanic ritual abuse, is necessary in order to force the victim to dissociate from reality, as well as map the brain by...
Okay, so I wanted to stop that. I'll continue to play the rest of it in the next video. The reason why I wanted to stop that is because you need to know, when you see the entire video series and you go back and you listen to what he just said, then you're going to see how important the community-based gang stalking is. Because think about it, when you're being harassed, okay, you have thinking responses, emotional responses. Is that done for the sake of remote neural monitoring? They monitor you neurologically